بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So first of all, I'd like to thank everyone for taking time out of their busy Saturday schedules to attend this first workshop. So just a brief introduction. My name's Dr Shahzad Amin. I'm a GP from Manchester. I'm the current president of UKIM Kisra Mosque in North Manchester, and I'm part of the National Dawah Team Initiative. So this presentation or this workshop is really around the Unity Iftaar, which is a UKIM National Dawah Team Initiative. Can everyone hear me okay so far? Dr. Fiaz, am I?
Yes, I can hear you very clearly. I mean, if I should say, if anyone's got anything to say, they can use the chat line. For now, inshallah, we will unmute people later on. But at the moment, it's just the chat line. Jazakallah.
Yes, that'd be great. Jazakallah khairan. Excuse me. So the objectives for today, we're looking at hopefully 30 to 40-minute presentation, and then really focus on the last bit, which will be suggestions from yourselves and really a question and answer session. And that's where hopefully we can listen to what you have to say and answer any queries that may arise from this presentation. So the objectives are really a brief introduction about the Unity Iftaar, go through the format of the Unity Iftaar, and then different ways of engaging with communities, what support we're providing from the UKIM National Dawah team, your suggestions, and then really finishing off with just a question and answer session. And as Dr. Fiaz said, it's intended to be interactive. So if you have questions, if you write them down in the chat, we can try to answer them as we go along, inshallah. And if there's anything that's you don't understand, then please raise your hands and we'll try to answer the questions at that time. So just a little introduction about Unity Iftaar. This is really the poster for our event that we're going to be holding, inshallah, in the next couple of weeks in this blessed month of Ramadan. And it's really a family event for all, as is said on the poster. It's a virtual event. It will include a guided tour of the mosque with a short presentation on Islam and Ramadan. And then this will be followed by an opportunity to have an iftar meal and really for people to win a hamper as well. And we can go through that later on today and maybe in the next workshop that we have. So really it's an opportunity to be part of this national initiative to share the beauty of Ramadan with your neighbors, friends and local contacts. And it's open to all masajid, centers, groups and individuals. So those who have registered today, we assume that you'll be participating in this. And if there are other mosques or centers or groups who are not UKM based and they want to participate, then that we're fine for everyone to be part of this, inshallah. This is our logo that we will be using for this event. So what is this Unity Iftaar? It's a UKIM initiative, and it's really to unite people of faith, no faith, different sects, and really bring people together on one platform. It's an annual event, and it's usually held face-to-face at a mosque, followed by a meal with everyone together. However, this year, due to the pandemic, we've had to change this to a virtual event. And the history of this Unity Iftaar, it's been running for the last few years, so it's not something that we've decided to do this year. It's gone on for many years. It's a national initiative, as I mentioned, from the UKM team, and it's usually held within the mosque. So this is really just a couple of pictures from some of our mosques across the country who have held this Unity Iftaar over the last few years. As we all know, last year mosques were closed, so nothing took place. However, the year before, this is a picture from one of the events where you can see lots of people stood together. This is something we don't see today. It's not something we're allowed to do because of social distancing rules. But you can see here a nice picture. We've had tours. You've had up to 50, 60 people, in some mosques even more, who've come together to do a tour of the mosque, learn about Islam, about Ramadan. And it's interesting, we find many people who've attended have never visited a mosque prior to this. So it's their first experience and they come with lots of questions. So this is really just to give you an idea of some of the pictures and gatherings that we've had. And again, this is a tour led by one of the sisters at one of the mosques. and it's just around, again, giving them a tour of the mosque and explaining about Islam as they do so. Now, this is something that we've done over the years as well. So some pictures. So it's a selfie board, and this you can see in one of the mosques where you've got the Lord Mayor of Manchester, the Deputy Lieutenant, and some other local people from a mosque. And here you have a picture of a sister, again with the selfie board. And again here we've got some guests who are taking pictures. And again at another mosque. So this is just a handful of pictures. We've got many more, and we couldn't share everything today, but you can find some of them on our website, unityiftar.org, and we'll give you links at the end of this presentation, inshallah. So this is really just to give you an idea of the format for the day. So times will vary as per the time of iftar in your locality across the country, because we'll have people from up in Scotland, London, Manchester, and in between who'll be participating. So whatever your time for iftar is, you can adjust it accordingly. But really it's divided into 3 segments. The first is really to welcome to the Unity Iftar, an introduction to Islam and Ramadan. So this is the first part, again, 15 minutes or so with the question and answer session. And really for all of these sessions, we want them to be interactive. And some of this, how we do this, will be in our later session. The second part is a tour of a masjid. So this is again via a virtual link. And again, this is really to make it easy for people. So it's a live tour of the mosque. However, we will be providing tours of mosques along with presentations on Islam, introduction on Islam and Ramadan, and a welcome to Unity Iftar. So all this will be provided. So some may feel, well, we're not part of a mosque, we're part of a group. We want to take part. So we want to make it easy for everyone. And by providing all the material, this will inshallah make it easy for everyone. And then the last part, which is the really enjoyable part, is really the distribution of food for iftar. And you can choose a venue where the iftar will be collected or how you will distribute. This will depend on everyone's local needs. And then you can conclude. So we're looking at 45 to 50 minutes, possibly, maybe a little bit longer. But what we thought would be really nice is if you sort of structure this in a way where you conclude at the time of iftar. So everyone opens their fast at the time on this live virtual event. You have your dates and water, and then following this, you end this tour. So that would be a really nice way to do this. So the offering of iftar, this is the really crucial part. How are we going to offer iftar? In the past, you had mosques, and the recommendations at present are not to do communal iftars at the mosque. So a couple of ways, again, we want to make it easy for people. These are our suggestions. And then at the end, when we discuss feedback from yourselves, you may have other better ideas, which we are hopefully happy to hear and work on. So one of the ideas is collection of iftar packs from the masjid, the center, the community hall, or wherever it may be. And that may be easy for some people. Another is distribution of the iftar packs. So you make these packs of food or refreshments, whatever people, and again, you'll know your community, and then you provide it in this way. So it could be to local contacts, people who have made a request, and you just distribute the food packs that you've made. And then another way is really distribution amongst your neighborhoods for people living nearby through personal contacts. And again, everyone will differ because we've got different groups, we've got mosques, we've got circles, groups, whatever works well for you, inshallah. Other ideas for the day. So we're looking at how can we make this more engaging, more interactive and different, because in general, when you've done face-to-face, there's so much more you can do. In this virtual world that we're going to be having this presentation in, it's just looking at other ideas. So what some places will be doing is also looking at providing food to frontline workers. So that could be a local vaccination centre, a little thank you to paramedics, NHS staff, track and trace team, anyone. So that's another idea. Full mosque and circle involvement is really important in these events from sort of experience, having done these for over many years at our local mosque. It's really important that brothers and sisters are working together in this, and it just makes it so much better for everyone that's attending and also for the group. So you have distinct tasks and roles. you could have a sister doing the presentation, someone doing the tour of the mosque, someone taking questions, the brothers serving food, whatever it may be. But it's really good if you could do that if you've got a mosque and if you're doing it as part of a circle, then whatever works for you. So it's not one size fits. It's about having something different and catering it to your local needs. Now, another idea is to have a quiz. And this is something that we can coordinate nationally. So based on the presentation that's provided. And you can use different methods. So some may have heard of or familiar with Mentimeter and Kahoot, but these are methods that have been used across the UKIM and elsewhere as well. Different ways. These are really ways of you can have quiz, you have time limits on them, and you can assess. You can ask people questions based on your presentation, make it more interactive and enjoyable. And then those that win, you could maybe look at a local hamper for them as well. So this is just one of the a slide which is from the NHS and the government. It's around a message really asking to the Muslim community that enjoy your iftar safely. And it's about groups, just telling people from Monday, the 12th of April, there'll be changes to government guidance that groups of 6 people or 2 households can meet outdoors as long as you maintain social distancing. So it's really important that we bear this in mind and we follow this government guidance. So just moving on to really general tips. It's really important that we ensure our centres, if we're doing it from a mosque, then ensure it's COVID secure, that you've done a risk assessment. And this is really in terms of providing food, serving food, in terms of your tour that you're going to be doing. And if you're cooking food on site, then ensure that it's all done properly. You've got a COVID secure kitchen and packing facilities as well. So please do ensure that you follow rules. Any items on display really need to be safe. So it's avoiding anything that's inappropriate. And what we really mean by this is if you're doing a tour of the mosque, then you don't want to be having people who are there. Again, people should not be hugging and being close to each other. They should be maintaining social distancing. But again, these are things that you have to be careful that are when you're doing a virtual tour, that you're not displaying such things which shouldn't be happening anyway. It's important that you have a mix of brothers and sisters and really make the presentation interactive, make it lively and enjoyable. This may be the only 10, maybe an hour, the first hour in someone's life of an engagement with a Muslim, with a mosque presentation about Islam. And it's really important that you do make it interactive and lively, inshallah. And that's something we'll focus on in the next workshop, inshallah. There's going to be an interactive discussion, tour, a presentation, and then really a competition where we're looking at from a national team to give out 5 hampers. And again, we're going to go through this in our next workshop of how we will do this. But this is really a nice way. So for those who are attending these virtual iftars, we will look at how we can select 5 people and then send them out a hamper of gifts, chocolates, whatever it may be, something that can be distributed locally to them. And it's worthwhile considering working colleagues or neighbours or local groups of professionals. So you may say, well, I work in an office. I'm going to invite my work colleagues. They've never been to a mosque before. They've never experienced a virtual tour. That's something you can do as well. Or you might be living in a neighbourhood with some non-Muslims who, again, you may never had this discussion. So there's different ideas. And again, everyone can decide on what works well for them. And for us, really, it's really how can we coordinate this and support everyone at a local level to do this in an easy way and make it as easy as possible for you. So we provide you with the presentations. We can make 1 or 2 tours of mosques that you can use as well if you don't have a mosque. The letters that are required, whatever is required, inshallah, we will do to facilitate everyone. So really going through the next steps, it's going to be looking at inviting a group of people to this virtual iftar. So we gave some ideas, in the previous slides around who you could invite. And again, this will depend on yourselves, your locality. If you've been doing this for a few years, you may have experience of calling different groups. Great, maybe look at another group. Things will be different. So you may think this time, let's just invite our neighbours or work colleagues. So whatever works well for you, and it's really important, do what you can manage. I think sometimes there's a tendency to try to do so much more and then you fall short. So take it in steps, do what you can manage, and inshallah that will make it more fruitful and beneficial for everyone. And another area that you really need to think about is be prepared for challenging questions. In general, in mosques, when you've had virtual tours, say you've had 50 to 60 people or 30 people, sometimes you'll be sat in little groups and someone asks you a challenging question, and sometimes we don't know the answer. It's important that we are not shying away from challenging questions. If we are asked, if we know the answer, then we explain the best we can. If we're not sure, then we just say we don't know, and we can find out and get back to you. Really important that we're polite. They're our guests. Whoever sort of participates, that we show them we are ambassadors of Islam, that with our behavior, our interaction, we do it in a way that is befitting of a Muslim. And it's the holy month of Ramadan, where everything should be so much better. So I'm going to just finish up with this and then move on and allow one of my other brothers to come forward and carry on with the presentation. But the next session is planned for 2 weeks, inshallah. This will really be a dry run of the real presentation. So we will go through the presentation on Islam and Ramadan, a tour of a mosque, and then really just briefly on a quiz and how we plan to the different options of giving out iftar food. But we'll do it in real time, so you can actually see what it's like, how long it takes, and then we can provide you with these presentations that you can take, you can go through, you can, if you want to tweak a little, you can do so. So whatever is required. And as we said, it's really to make it easy for everyone. We'll provide you with letters, presentations, and anything else that you may require on the day. So we'll give you our contact details at the end. Letters, we do have templates that you can use to invite guests as well. So I'll hand over now to Brother Naseem to continue from here.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Shahzad. Thank you so much, inshallah. I think for my part, really, is I just wanted to give people an indicator as to what we did in Oldham. We've been doing this Unity Iftar or communal Iftar since 2011. So, and alhamdulillah, you know, we generally be in the masjid, but any people that we would invite to take part in it, we'd get them to also fast on the day. And it's not a compulsion on this one, or it's not something that we're saying that this is what we need people to do, but we would get people to fast. We would get them to make a video diary as the day goes on, how they're feeling, what kind of message they're giving out, has it made them feel different, and then they'd tweet it. And when they tweet it, they'd hashtag Unity Iftar into it. So that's something that we could do. Share the pictures, share the videos on social media, and encourage other people. One of the other unique things that we did in Oldham, I suppose, was one lady said to us that if I'm going to fast, I'd like to also raise some money for charity. And she had a charity in mind, and it was a cancer charity that she felt that her mother was really looked after by them. So she raised some money, created like a GoFundMe page, and raised some money for the charity. So people sponsored her for fasting, and then she broke the fast with us, and she got a gift from us. And you know, so those are the kind of things that you know, you can innovate the Unity Iftar to suit your locality, to suit your passion behind it, inshallah. So in terms of what Dr. Shahzad's already mentioned, that posters, invite cards, invite letters, social media tags, presentations, anything like that, inshallah, we can provide that for you. So we can take questions as well. So if there's any brothers or sisters who've got some questions, inshallah, we're happy to take them. If you just put them in the chat on your right hand side, and then we can, you know, pick up the questions and try and answer them for you. Brother Shahzad, Dr. Fiaz, if you'd like to step in as well, please. Have we covered everything?
Jazakallah khair, Brother Naseem and Dr. Shahzad. This session, this workshop is actually is meant to be an icebreaker. It's actually just to give an overview of what we are thinking. It's going to be a national event, so it's a matter of coordinating that. And inshallah, this is what the purpose of today is, just to give some idea in terms of what we are thinking. I know that brothers and sisters who are here have actually, some of them have been involved in these kind of activities before. So it's a case of also hearing from yourselves, trying to see where you think this is going to fit in. Nationally, we can coordinate it, as Brother Naseem has just pointed out, and Dr. Shahzad has touched on. We can coordinate it and we can promote it. We can support you, and we can support you in different ways depending on what your needs are. We have resources and we can get resources, inshallah, in order to support you. So it's a case of yourselves stepping forward and saying what will work best for you. I think from my end, I think looking at the scenario that we are caught in, yes, we will have iftar. It won't be the Unity Iftar that we had in previous years, but it will be similar in the sense that we will be able to actually have the event, but have it in a slightly different way. And I'm looking at more of a neighborhood approach, where locally that brothers and sisters are able to actually engage their neighbors in Unity Iftar rather than in a one particular place, which obviously is not the right thing to be doing right now. So I think what I would like to see, and I think what we would like to see, is the brothers and sisters who have been able to join us today, if they have any questions, suggestions, ideas they feel that we should be looking at, then by all means this is the time to say. If they feel that there are some challenges that we haven't actually focused on, then by all means let us know. But I think with our experience, that's collective experience, your experience, and the Jamaat's experience, I think we should be able to deliver this. And like I say, we have the networks in terms of social media, websites, and so on, and contacts, inshallah, to make this a success. And our success is really to take the message of Allah to the people of Allah. That is what our success is, and that's what we want to do. And we want them to taste Ramadan, and by doing so, hopefully they will be able to taste Islam as well. So, like Dr. Shahzad earlier on said, that the program is short and sweet in terms of the virtual tour of the masjid and also virtual presentation. We can actually do it centrally. We will be able to do that centrally. We will coordinate that. But you may want to have a local flavor to that as well, and you're more than welcome to do so. We will produce the invite letters and so on, and we can do that for you. And it's something that we will go through next time, inshallah, in about a couple of weeks' time, so that we can actually give you the details exactly how that is going to be done, inshallah. So, brothers and sisters, if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat right now. If you have any thoughts, any feedback, then this is the time to speak. I think we can unmute you as well if you want to speak as well, inshallah. And as we speak, I mean, there are people still wanting to join the workshop, so I think it's good to see the interest. But can I just ask, brothers and sisters, any thoughts on what we've said today? Any feedback? I think if anybody wants to speak, then by all means raise your hand. Or if you want to put it in the chat, then by all means put a message in the chat, please. I think the question that I have for yourselves is this doable, you think? Do you think you can do something like this in your localities? And if so, what kind of format it may take? I assume when nobody's saying no, it seems that everybody's saying yes. That's the way I'm reading it. Anything, brothers and sisters? Okay. Dr. Shahzad, did you want to just quickly say what will happen in the second workshop?
Yeah, so can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. So what we're going to do, inshallah, is, so this is really just an overview and an introduction to what we intend to do. I think it was really just to get everyone's thoughts and ideas, as Dr. Fiaz and Brother Naseem have mentioned, to give you a little flavor of what's expected. And then in the next session, what we want to do is really go through it as a dry run. So go through the presentation. It'll be slightly longer, so we'll go through a 15-minute presentation of Ramadan and an introduction to Islam and Unity Iftaar. So we'll do a real-time presentation. This will then be followed by a recorded tour of a mosque. So just so you can actually see what it's like, and then followed by just a short discussion on extra activities that we will do, such as the quiz and also on the iftar. But really just going through the presentations, and hopefully at the end of this, we provide you with these presentations that you can use and sort of tweak it so it suits your locality. So that's the plan, inshallah, and that will then give you some time. So we're on the 10th, so we've sort of looked 2 weeks down the line, so it'll leave you about a week or so before the main event that we do, and that's plenty of time for everyone, inshallah. If there's any questions, any sort of teething issues, then they're things that we can try to address for you, inshallah. And we're going to be contactable, so if you have questions, if someone feels that they don't want to ask a question today, or they're just going to try to take everything in, go back, discuss it with their groups or with their mosques or with their circles, however you want to do it, and you want to maybe contact us separately or have a private chat, then you can do so by visiting us on the website. You've got the email address as well, and we're more than happy to, inshallah, address any sort of questions or concerns that you have. And as was mentioned earlier on, it's about unity. So it's really everyone and all of us here that are on this working together, inshallah. So we want to make it easy for everyone. We want it to, it's a difficult time with the pandemic, and it's really how can we do this in a way that it's not a burden, so no one's burdened in a way. So if you, again, as Dr. Fiaz said, if you have any feedback, any suggestions, and you think, this doesn't seem right, or I don't know how the food's going to work, then, please either just put a short message in the chat, or just unmute yourself and just ask a question. And we can try to answer any questions, or even if it's just to say, yeah, happy, we think this is fine, we're going to do it, inshallah. So I think it's just try to make it a bit more interactive. So rather than hearing my voice or that of Dr. Fiaz and Brother Naseem, it'd be nice to sort of hear thoughts from others, just again very briefly, and then inshallah we can. So someone's asked a question here actually. So many of our volunteers might be vulnerable. So how to manage health and safety while distributing food? So yeah, that's a good question. So this is, again, I'll go back to one of my slides where we spoke about, it's really important that if you're doing this at a mosque, if it's being done, so there's different ways of doing this. So one is you cook, if you're doing it with your neighbors, you cook food, you take care that you would normally do, and the regular hand washing, and then you distribute the food in your locality. So that's one way of doing it. Secondly, you can work with a restaurant. People are still buying food from takeaways. Things are going to become easier from Monday. They'll be able to go into different places. So as long as you try to do your best to make sure that you are following guidance in terms of hygiene, then inshallah that should be okay. What you're going to find is there's mention about vulnerable people. So the majority of the elderly community, those who are over 80, over 70, to be honest with you, now those that are over the age of 50 or those that have illnesses, many of the older group, the most at-risk group, have actually will have had their COVID vaccine, so they'll have some protection there as well. But from our side, it's just really making sure that we follow all precautions to keep people as safe as possible, and with hygiene. So if you're doing it at a mosque, we'd recommend that you have some sort of hygiene certificate, so you're aware of what to do to make sure everything is done properly. But if you're using a restaurant, if you're cooking from home, whatever it takes. It's ensuring it's done in a safe manner, inshallah. I don't know if that answers the question. If that was okay. Any other questions? Any other questions at all? Anything in the chat?
I think the other thing, Dr. Shahzad, which you did touch on, I think maybe somebody has that in mind, is that the way it will work in each locality will be dependent on how one feels that it fits in with the locality. So it's not going to be prescriptive in terms of what we want. It's a case of yourself saying, this is what will work for us. We have given 2-3 ideas in terms of how things can be done. It could be a mixture of those things, or it could be one thing, or it could be something totally different. And I think part of what we'll do next time, Dr. Shahzad, as you said, we will probably go through 1 or 2 scenarios. And in terms of how it could potentially be done. And I know that brothers and sisters are very active in outreach work, and they have actually, I know in last Ramadan, I mean, there was a lot of work done in trying to support the key workers. And I think there's no reason why that couldn't be repeated in some capacity this time around as well. So it's a case of trying to see what will work locally. And then for our end, nationally, we are here, inshallah, to actually support you. So every locality will have different need, and we'll see what we can do. I mean, in the past, for example, we put together gift bags, and that's included booklets and copies of Quran and so on. And we can do that again, or we could actually, we had banners and posters and all sorts of things we've done. And again, I think Brother Naseem touched on that. Is something that we can actually localize it. So in other words, it has your contact details on it. So those are the kind of things we can actually do. And we can promote the events locally as well through our national networks. So they are the things that we can potentially do. If anybody has any other questions or comments, then I'm happy to take them right now. So what will happen is that this presentation, we'll upload it, Brother Naseem. We'll make this available. Yeah, okay. We will make this available so that yourselves and others can take benefit. And then hopefully this will become as a preparation stage for the next workshop, which will give more details. But it will also give you a time to reflect and come back to us with your suggestions, ideas, and comments, inshallah.
Okay, so there's another comment here. So I think we can have one example each for a Unity Iftaar idea with a mosque and one without it, so it'll be helpful to everyone, inshallah. Yeah.
Is it?
Sorry, yeah, Dr. Fias?
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, in terms of examples, we are looking at next time, aren't we? Not this time.
Yeah, inshallah. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we're going to do that. I think it's good for people that have attended to digest everything that we've sort of mentioned today. We'll have a recording that you can listen to, and then really for the next one, it'll be the real session. So if you have questions that you didn't want to ask today, you're going to think about, then you can do so next time. And if there's other brothers and sisters who weren't able to attend today, then inshallah they can hopefully attend as well. Yeah, but inshallah we're trying to make it in a way where it can be done with the mosque and it can be done without a mosque. So if you're in a circle or you're part of a group who are not linked with a mosque or not working with a mosque and you still want to do this, then yes, you can do that as well. So we can provide all the material for that. If you have a mosque where you want to do it virtually, you want to do it, when I say virtually, you want to do it live, then that's another way to do it as well. So there are lots of different ways that we can do it, inshallah. So I hope that sort of covers that point as well. Yeah. Jazakumullah khairan.
Yeah, okay. I think unless anyone's got any other points or questions. we can stop it there, inshallah.
Okay, thank you so much to everyone for attending. Jazakallah khairan for listening. I hope it was useful, and Jazakallah khair to Dr. Fiaz, Dr. Naseem, for all the hard work in the background. Jazakallah khairan.
Okay. We need to finish with us. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. جزاك الله خير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.